Well, good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Coffee with a Coach. It's been a long time since we've had coffee together, and I apologize for that. I've been really busy doing a fair amount of travel. But you know, something happened just a few days ago, and I thought it was time that we got back together. I spoke with a colleague of mine who recently lost her father. He was in his mid-80s and in fairly poor health. He did get around, and he actually had an accident working out in the yard, and unfortunately that put him in the hospital in some serious condition. She was notified, flew over to see him, and unfortunately he passed away. She did mention, though, that shortly before, when she was able to talk with him, a chaplain had come by, and he was fairly out of it at the time. The chaplain was, and he was actually okay. But the chaplain asked her, you know, is everything okay? And she's not a real religious person, so she said yeah, but she did want to make sure that he'd been given the last rites, and then the priest said indeed he had. Then he asked her if she would be able to identify two characteristics of her father that she saw exhibited in his life. And she thought for a bit, and she says, yeah, they are bravery and perseverance. And when she was asked about it, she mentioned that those were characteristics her father had developed when he was a prisoner of war during World War II, right during and after the Battle of the Bulge. So life experiences determine a legacy, and she remembered that legacy in those two words. It's very powerful, and I thought about that as I was traveling, and I thought, you know, I wonder if that would be something that we might think about. You know, in the case of her father, he may never have known that people thought of him that way, but that in fact, based on how he lived his life, is what they remembered. But I wonder if we could identify things that we'd want to be remembered for, and then start living our life according to those, if that would be the type of legacy we would live. Be pretty powerful, wouldn't it? So I'm thinking about doing that, and I was just wondering if you might be interested in joining me for that. To do that, I think we'd have to sort of think of these as our corporate values. Some of the companies I work with that are doing change initiatives, you know, they'll ask people and they'll put it together and plan it, but the good companies will look at their corporate values, the companies that truly believe in those corporate values, and let's say, is this being done in accordance with those? Are these according to our guiding principles? If we do this and customers expect that from us, will this new initiative follow suit? And if it doesn't, good companies will change their mind and do something different. If we were to do that for ourselves, then we could take every decision we made, run it up against those two characteristics, and say, if we were to die tomorrow, would people say that we live these principles? It's pretty powerful stuff. So in thinking about it, I think that, well, number one, we've got to make sure that if we're going to live these characteristics, we do it in the right way. Saddam Hussein might have mentioned that one of his lifelong legacy characteristics was leadership, but you would probably get a different opinion from the people that he led. We also probably need to tell other people about these. It's a sense of accountability then. If we believe that at any other time and place, people would look at us and say, wow, for someone that says he is this, we're not seeing it, that would be pretty powerful. It would really keep you on the edge, and it would make sure you stayed on track. So maybe that's something that we ought to think about. I'm going to be working on this over the next few weeks, and I'll share these with you when I come up with them. And I was wondering if you might be willing to do that with me. You, of course, I would hope you'd share them with me. You know how to reach me, right? You can email them to me. It's coach@contactmycoach.com. You could also leave it on my webpage, and one of the pages is askthecoachrightnow.com. I would really be interested in hearing that. And maybe over time, if we can come to this, we can publish these, and maybe we can encourage others to do that as well. It's an interesting way to think about things, but it really goes back into something that I advocate, and that is to live your life deliberately. Make sure that whatever you do, you're thinking about outcomes. It's one of the traits I teach to managers in my management workshops, kind of a critical thinking component, but also one that will be pretty powerful for your kids to know as well. So be thinking about it, share it with me, let me know what you're thinking when I come up with mine. I'm not ready yet, but when I do, I'll share them with you. And until we have coffee again, have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Coffee with a Coach. Bye.